7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hey guys, and welcome to the mixer review portion of the show. And in this show, I decided to pick out the mixes for EdibleMalfunction. So I've mixed up two recipes for from EdibleMalfunctions selection, and you can find all these recipes on alltheflavors.com and under the mixer called EdibleMalfunction. Now, I want to start with God's milk. Now, God's milk is 1.5 FA fresh cream, 1% TFA hazelnut, 4% strawberry, 1.5% sugar cookie, 2% sweet strawberry, 0.5% sweetener, and 1% Vienna cream, right? Does anybody know if Skittles has mixed this up? Richard, do you know if Skittles has mixed this up?
I don't.
Because, you know, he should really be mixing this up. Because, you know, I watch In the Mix all the time, and, you know, the guys give, or he gives everybody a lot of crap, because I think God's Milk is at the top if you click on most popular recipes, right? So, you know, he's got that under his belt. But this one here, very much the same profile, of course, a little bit more strawberry, but the creme fraiche and Vienna cream are both not that rich when it comes to cream. They are the lighter creams for me, okay? But he uses TFA hazelnut with these two creams, and that gives it body. And I haven't seen this anywhere else, but damn, what a cool cream body. I'm very impressed with this body. The strawberry stone over here, or the strawberry base that he's used, is something that I'm very familiar with. Strawberry ripe, TFA strawberry and cap sweet strawberry. This is part of my strawberry stone as well. I use a little bit of ripe in there as well, but this is my go-to strawberry. So, you know, I'm 100% in agreement with him on his selection here. I've mixed up like 30 mils of this stuff. I'm pretty much done. I'm probably going to finish this up, you know, before the end of tomorrow. The strawberry in here is popping. It's so nice. I'm probably going to be adding this recipe in my rotation now, because, and damn Edible for making me vape strawberry again, because, you know, that's literally all I vape for like 2 years, you know, when everybody was literally just vaping strawberry creams. And so I've kind of forgotten how good they are. This is an older recipe. I think this is maybe one of his first recipes that he brought out. But damn, what a good strawberry cream. I know that it's over, everybody's got a strawberry cream out, but certainly if that is the profile that you're interested in, you should be looking at this one. All right. So props to him on that one. He nailed it there. He doesn't give much of a description, you know, on the profile, only that it's a really good strawberry cream, and I 100% agree with him. Okay, you don't taste the hazelnut in there. The hazelnut, I'm sure some of the people that might have, you know, superhuman strength might be able to pick it out there, but I certainly don't. I think it just adds body to the creams. So that's a little trick there.
I'm wondering why he used TFA, because it's not a popular hazelnut at all. I mean, Flavor West is the hazelnut which people tend to use in creams and cereal milks and so on. I would have mixed that up, except I don't want to order in TFA hazelnut because it's not used in very many recipes. I've got the Flavor West, which I use all the time, and I've got FA, which is more of an actual hazelnut. have you tasted the TFA on its own? What sort of difference does it have over the FW?
To be honest, I don't like nutty vapes, if you're going to call it that. So, this is probably one of the only nutty kind of concentrates that I have. I don't like them in my mixes, So I can't tell you what the difference is. Yeah, the back of the hand taste, man, it's rank. Wow. It is so not good. Wow, let me just chase that with some cream soda.
I'll probably try it then with FW in place of the TFA, because it's really, hazelnut. I also don't do nutty vapes that much, but I use a lot of FW hazelnut in, cereal milks, creams, and so on. But because it's only ever used at 0.5, one bottle lasts an age. So it's not really a profile that I want to be getting, another hazelnut. My FA hazelnut is about 2 years old now, and I've used maybe 1.5 mils of it. So hazelnut certainly isn't a profile that I'm wanting to get more flavors in. But if FW works, I'll give it a bash.
Yeah, because I'm sure the hazelnut in here, the only use of it is to add body, and FA will do that for you. On the nose, if I smell TFA hazelnut or just on the nose, it's giving me that hazelnut just off the nose. It's the back of the hand taste is rank, man. Don't do it. The next recipe that I want to talk about here is strawberry yogurt. This is 1% creamy yogurt, 1% Madagascar vanilla classic, 4% strawberry ripe, 2% sweet strawberry, and 4% yogurt. Okay? So for the yogurt geeks out there, this yogurt base is probably one of the best ones I've ever vaped. Okay, so I'm having a really good vaping week. This was great for me. What I like about this yogurt base is that, it wasn't like an overly sweetened yogurt. It still had that little bit of tartness in there. That is, so you're never going to get the mouth feel of an actual yogurt, right? So, if you can't do that, you need to take cream, right, that gives you that creamy sensation, and you need to put like a little bit of tartness on there, so you experience that creaminess and you experience that tartness at the same time, and he's nailed it. He uses Madagascar Vanilla Classic in here from FA. I'm not sure exactly what the use is there, why this was used in there. He'll probably know, but it's part of the base. He also, in his write-up, he challenges people. He said, use these 3 concentrates together for the base and pop any fruit on top of it, which is, this is valuable information, right? Pop any fruit on top of it. He challenges us to do that. He thinks it will pretty much go with anything, right? And I want to agree with him here. The strawberries that he has used over here, this strawberry ripe, we know it fades a little bit. He uses it quite high. He uses it at 4%. But, I think I found one of my most favorite strawberries just as a single concentrate, which is sweet strawberry JF. JF has got a lot of bangers that I like. Honey peach, I love honey peach. And then now I found sweet strawberry as well from JF. And, their stuff is banging, man. This is really good. So, yeah, I was really surprised. This might actually even be better than sweet strawberry TFA and sweet strawberry from Cap. That JF strawberry is quite something, I didn't steep this mix for 2 weeks. I spun it for 3 days. Okay, he says leave it for 2 weeks or 14 days. But what he's saying on his profile and what I'm getting after I spun it for 4 days, for 3 days, is exactly right. So, this is for me 100% right. When it comes to profile, plus what the recipe is giving me, plus when I vape it, you know what I mean? So, and it's also quite simple recipe. We've got 5 ingredients here, right? And for me, this is kind of vaping at its best, So low on the amount of ingredients, The ingredients are pretty accessible for somebody to get hold of. There's no funny things used in there like Delosi or whatever that people can't find. And then he put a write-up in there that matches exactly the profile, the vaping experience. So it's a banger for me. If you like a yogurt, do this one. Richard, which ones did you mix up?
Sorry about that. I did 2 of his. If you're going to do edible malfunction, you've got to do something that features his blueberry trinity. He was the guy that pioneered the mixture of FA blueberry, FW blueberry, and TFA blueberry extra, all mixed together to make a very rounded and complete blueberry, which he uses in this mix. He brought it out during Remix Month, and it's a clone of Bombay's Blackout City, which he says here is described as a limoncello, blueberry, and menthol. He didn't use menthol in his, he used Polar Blast. I used WS23 in mine, which I imagine would be pretty similar. It's a coolant with no flavor to it, so probably interchangeable. But the recipe is fairly simple. It's his blueberry trinity, which is 0.5% blueberry, 3% FW blueberry, and 4% TFA blueberry extra. And then to get the limoncello part, he just bangs in 4% FA lemon Sicily. Now, this is a very interesting mix for me because blueberry and lemon are 2 very difficult flavors to balance for me. If you have a very prominent lemon top note, it very quickly goes into lemon pledge, the whole furniture polish thing. And blueberry as well can become very pungent and overpowering as a top note. Now, what he's done in this recipe, he's used fairly high percentages. I mean, he's got 7.5% total of blueberry flavors, and then 4% of FA lemon Sicily, which is reasonably high for lemon Sicily. So he's pitching them as a sort of joint top note. It's not a blueberry with a touch of lemon, and it's not a lemon with an accent of blueberry. The 2 sort of go head to head. And it works very well for me. I mean, blueberry and lemon are well known to work together in culinary terms. A lot of chefs will use them together, but in vaping terms as well. And what I've found with it is that the 2 top notes kind of complement each other to take that harshness out of the other one. So you're not getting a very astringent lemon, and you're not getting a very pungent blueberry. The blueberry's pulling the lemon back, and the lemon's pulling the blueberry back. It's quite a strange vape because the WS23 only registers at the end of the inhale, and actually as you drawing it into your lungs. And then on the exhale, I found that this fruit mixture is actually quite warm. I'm not talking about the temperature of the vapor itself, but quite often fruits give you quite a warm vape. It feels warmer than the actual vapor is. And this particular mix is doing that as well. So it's this blast of cold on the inhale, and then quite a warm, mellow blueberry limoncello on the exhale. It's very nicely balanced. It's one of those mixes where, the mixture of the blueberry and the lemon creates something different that is not identifiably lemon and not identifiably blueberry. The 2 mesh together very nicely to give you this third taste sensation that you're getting. It's very smooth. It's not astringent at all. So it's quite well balanced. The problem I'm having with it is that it almost seems like there's force muting going on. It's a pleasant flavor. It's just not a very prominent flavor. It's not popping at all. It's not jumping out at me. So it's quite a subtle vape. Lemon beverages aren't really my thing. I'm not big on lemonades, but this is certainly one of the better ones that I've tried. purely because the blueberry takes away that very astringent and wet and quite watery character that a lot of lemonade vapes has. So it's finely balanced. I don't think I would change the balance, but I'm just wondering how to get a little bit more just vibrancy out of that top note. And he doesn't have any sweetener in his recipe, and this is one recipe why I might actually be inclined just to pop in a little bit of sweetener and just see if it'll bring something more out of that fruit mixture, because I was quite surprised when tasting it how that blueberry is a very pungent mix. I've had mixes from other people who've used that same blueberry trinity, and it's very pungent and up front, and in this juice, not at all. It barely registers. It's just a light blueberry accent to the lemonade. So yeah, it's something where I would probably try a little bit of sweetener, just see if I could maybe get it to pop a little bit more. But for what it is, it's working really well. It's finely balanced. It's always difficult to get two top notes meshing together, and he's got the balance just right in this one as far as my palate goes. The second one that I tried, which is much more in my wheelhouse than a lemon beverage, is his Spunkuloos. Now this is he describes it as spreadable speculoos bliss. Now this is based off the speculoos cookies that are very popular in Europe, around Belgium, the Netherlands, and so on. The cinnamon and ginger hard crunchy cookies that they make. I've never had the actual sandwich or the actual spread. Apparently it is quite a popular thing, but I've only had the biscuit, so I'm not really familiar with the real life profile of this this juice, but I do know the flavor very well from the hard crunchy biscuits. And it's got just a whole bunch of good stuff in here. 0.5% TFA brown sugar, 1% cap buttercream, 2% cinnamon Danish swirl, cap of course, 3% cap gingerbread, 1% TFA marshmallow, 3% cap sugar cookie, and 4% cap vanilla custard. So there's not much that can go wrong with that. It's sweet, it's dark, it's rich. It's not really a bakery base. He wanted it to be a thick, spreadable paste, which it achieves, thanks to the cap vanilla custard and the cap buttercream. That gives it quite a lot more moisture than you'd get from a bakery base. IDTMT gave a very interesting review of this recipe. He says, I think I'll try bringing the gingerbread, cinnamon Danish swirl, and custard all down a hair, increasing the cap sugar cookie a bit, and adding some FA caramel and FA meringue. Now, I agree totally with him on the cinnamon Danish swirl, because that's about the only thing that is slightly off on this. Cinnamon Danish swirl has that very metallic tang to it, which I pick up very, very quickly in a juice. And it's coming through in this, but only when the wicks are totally saturated. So it's really only the first vape after I drip it. Second and third vapes and vapes after that, it mellows out beautifully, but that first vape is just a little bit metallic. So I'd probably drop the cinnamon Danish swirl, or maybe even try a different cinnamon in there, something like FW cinnamon roll or Wonder Flavors cinnamon pastry. Maybe just try a different type of flavor that doesn't have that trademark cap metallic note to it. But this is a really super juice. It's right up my alley. It's bakery strong. I wouldn't call it a bakery. It is identifiably a thick, spreadable paste rather than a crumbly cookie type of base. But it does have that bakery feel to it, that TFA brown sugar in there, the cap gingerbread, the cap sugar cookie. It all adds to that browned, oven-baked, rich, sweet, smooth, syrupy sort of feel that you get from it. As I say, I haven't tried the speculoos spread. I have tried the speculoos cookies, and I know them very well. This doesn't quite match the cookies. I think the cookies use more than just cinnamon and ginger. They bring in things like nutmeg and even things like white pepper, which probably gives that very trademark speculoos flavor. This is a slightly more linear flavor. It's probably not as deep and as complex as the speculoos cookies, but to try and balance all those different spices in there, to start bringing in nutmeg and so on, and to try and balance it in a vape would be a nightmare for me. So I'm happy that he went simpler, just pulled out the cinnamon and the ginger, which are the two main elements of the spice, and he's made a really well balanced, very tasty, sweet without sweetener, smooth, thick, dense vape. This is certainly going to go into my rotation now. It's absolutely in my wheelhouse. As he says, smooth, heavenly, rich, creamy, spreadable, speculoos bliss, and that pretty much nails it for me.
Okay, so from mine, I also went with two from EdibleMalfunction. The first one I'm going to cover is the Razzler. And the Razzler's concentrates are 1% FA blackcurrant, 5% Capella lemon lime, and 6% TFA raspberry sweet. Now, from the start for me with this recipe, it didn't agree with me very well. It says there that you can do a shake and vape or overnight steep, and recommends a steep of 2 days. I tested it as a shake and vape after about 5 hours on the stirrer. Tested it a day after, and I tested it 3 days after. It's pretty much the same for me. That it doesn't agree. I feel a little bit bold by this one, because I expected a bit something different, which I didn't get. I get mainly a lime, like a lime candy, and then just weird. It's the first 3 puffs it's okay. It's like that lemon lime, the lime, not really much lemon, but the lime is there. Then the second puff, the lime is still there, but starts fading out, and then normally by the third puff, it just gets weird. These flavors are, to me, it feels like these flavors are too strong to blend and to give you that something new. I mean, the raspberry at 6% was a bit surprising for me, because it's a very strong flavor for me. So pretty much the same after 3 days, lots of stirring in between. It stays very lime on the first few puffs. Then you just get the sense that it's not blending. It doesn't really work. It's very difficult for me to explain. They are both there. The raspberry flavor is there. The lemon and lime, more the lime of the lemon and lime is there. But it seems like the blackcurrant is just confusing everything. My taste senses, if I can put it that way. It's very strong. It's there, but it's almost like, if I can explain it to you, you've got one raspberry sweet and one lime sweet. Both of these sweets it's great sweets. You normally like them. Now you stuff them both in your mouth and you expect this great new third sweet to happen, but it doesn't. That's unfortunately for me what's happening. I don't think I'll mix it again, because it's a bit overflavored. I think it could possibly improve if you had maybe a creme fraiche, a touch of creme fraiche, or some creamy background, just to in an additive way, to outline and accentuate these two very strong flavors. But as it is, not very. I mixed 25 ml. There's still about 20 ml, and I've just tried it again on a different dripper. I've tried it on 2 different drippers and a different tank. It's not getting there for me. So this one wasn't.
So it's not.
It could be good. It could be good, but unfortunately, I think it lacks a little bit of background, the cream to separate and blend at the same time these two very strong flavors.
Are you a ketchup taster with raspberry sweet?
How do you mean?
A lot of people get a very strong ketchup.
Normally, no. I get more. I get it, but no, not in a funny sense or taste. Maybe with this one, but I don't think so, because I've used this in a different mix. Actually, the next recipe also has raspberry in it, but it's a very different taste. So I don't get any funny notes of raspberry normally. No.
Because that's a flavor I've avoided getting because there are just too many people taste like coup tomato sauce in it, in raspberry
Actually,
sweet.
now that you mention it, in all honesty, when I was testing this and making my notes, I was sitting there with my wife and I told her, without telling her what the profile is, I said, what do you taste? Because I get this is where those two flavors are very strong, the lemon and the raspberry. And on the inhale, they're there. On this, like the first half a second of the exhale, I get like blueberry just quickly giving you like the memory that there's blueberry. And then I get pizza. That must be the ketchup taste. I told her I get pizza out of this. It's strange. That's what I said. By the third puff, it gets weird. I start getting pizza there. It must be.
Yeah.
It's just very strong. I think it can work, but if you drop the percentages and work with a few additives, maybe a cream or a sweetener, maybe not even sweetener, but a cream definitely I think is needed here.
Maybe another raspberry, eh?
But particularly at 6%, that's if the ketchup's going to show, it'll be at that.
Definitely. But again, okay, now the second recipe. Was there anything you guys wanted to still cover on this one? Now the second recipe, blue raspberry candy. This one has 0.5% TFA dragon fruit, 2% Capella jelly candy, 2% TFA peach juicy, 6% raspberry sweet, and 0.75 sweetener. Now, the first things that surprised me is, again, the raspberry at 6%, and then the sweetener at 0.75%. Some people like it. I'm sure a lot of people like it. To me, I don't really like working with a lot of sweetness. So in my own mixes, I normally go up to about 0.25. If it's the real candy and needs that sweetness, then I'll go up to 0.5, maybe 0.6 at most. But then it starts leaving that sweetener taste, and that's something I don't really enjoy very much.
Yeah, don't
so for
worry,
me,
we'll change that.
Just based on reading, just based on reading the ingredients, that's something that I was a bit skeptical about. So the first to get the percentages was a bit strong, and then the peach juicy, which is what kind of got me a bit excited on this recipe, because one of my permanent rotations is Doug's Awesome Sauce. It's just one of the best recipes that for me, it's just so flavorful. I think it's because of the peach juicy. It does something with the recipe, but I can't quite explain it. And in the same way, the creator has said that the peach juicy does something with the flavor, and it works. So the percentages was a bit high, but the peach juicy kind of got me a little bit excited about the recipe. Initial shake and vape, it was a bit harsh. I would say the first, immediately after the stirrer, after about 6 hours, it was a bit sharp. The raspberry I felt was sharp. And the day after, the first day also, it was a bit sharp. And then I went with the third day. Third day, I feel the raspberry has mellowed out quite a lot, and it's blended in a very strange way. The raspberry kind of melts into this jelly type of candy, but it's not like a normal fruity jelly candy, if I can put it that way. It's more like a cotton candy flavored jelly candy, which is strange because I get the whole cotton candy feeling going, and that sugar of the cotton candy, but it's a jelly, so it's confusing, but it's interesting. So the sharper notes mellow out on the third day. And regarding the title, Blue Raspberry Candy, I would say it smells more blue than it vapes, and I think it's because of what the peach juicy does to the whole way the recipe binds. At first look, I would have imagined that the dragon fruit is what binds the fruit into a different merged fruit, to put it that way. But I think the peach juicy has more part in this. So that smell that makes it the blue raspberry, I think, comes from the peach juicy. But when you vape it, like I said, it's more like a cotton candy flavored jelly candy. It's candy. Candy is the thing. The sweetener at 0.75 works very well here with what the recipe was going for, that being a raspberry candy. I personally would mix it up again, but for my own taste, I would just drop the sweetener a bit, and I wouldn't be able to vape it as an ADV because of the cotton candy flavor for me. I tend to stay away from the cotton candy feel and flavor because it gets a little bit linear for me. It's the same thing on every puff, where with a fruity type vape, there's something you can pick out and enjoy at the moment. So it's a good candy. I think it's a good recipe. I would say kudos to the creator. It definitely would take some wizardry to pull off a raspberry that's not harsh at that percentage. And it's actually not harsh at all. It's like a raspberry cotton candy. And it all blends in very well together. I would say if you like candies, it's very sweet candy, and maybe cotton candy, and want something like a unique jelly candy, go for it. Mix it. It's good, yeah.
Cool. That pretty much wraps it up. The feel I'm getting, from, if we look at the body of work, just randomly picking out 6 recipes is, each of us hit one recipe that, was pretty good. Myself and Richard, found a recipe that we can add to our rotation. Deetz found a recipe that, that he likes, and might just drop the cotton candy a little bit. So I think, judging from the body of work, I think Edible, has done really great. We can't talk about everything, that is on there. One miss there for Razzler, but all in all, really good. So yeah, Edible Malfunction, props to you. I think you've got some good stuff out there, so keep on bringing out new recipes. And yeah, thank you for everybody that watched the show. Please remember to subscribe, and also, leave your comments so that we can get back to you. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Goodbye.